Chrissy.
And welcome back to Talking Shit. So what are we talking about today?
Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me.
Let's talk about all the good and the bad.
Oh.
There's no bad. What's bad with sex?
Well, nothing if you're actually doing it.
Okay.
Well, I don't
that's
know
very
about
true.
that.
Very true. So, okay, let's start. Let's start with masturbating. That's a huge part of sex that I think people think that it's such a taboo topic to talk about masturbating.
Yes, and so when we talk about our episodes, the first thing I said when we decided that this would be one of our episodes is in society's norm, they have certain boundaries and guidelines on sex, and everybody is just expected to fall into those guidelines, and
Boxes.
it's
those
so
categories.
restricting.
It really is. Now, I will say, I feel like there's people who maybe take it to the extreme, like, not just, how do I want to say this? I'm trying to be so intentional when I talk. Meaning, like, out in public. Like, they are,
right,
like,
yeah.
There's a time and a place.
And yeah, there's a respect that comes with
Correct.
it because
so while, yes, we fit into
right.
society's norms,
right.
there is a time and a place for
Right.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And so we've had conversations about sex often, and one of the things
Yes,
that
women do talk about sex.
they do talk
Can you
about
believe
sex.
it? Is this changing back and forth when we talk?
I have not paid a bit of attention.
Is it going now?
Nope.
Hello? There we go.
So one of the things that I always say, and I've said this to my friends multiple times, men are usually the biggest instigator when it comes to sexual activity.
That's all they think about.
I mean, not all they think about, but this is the reality of it. And I really want women to think about this when they think about their relations with their husband or spouse, whatever. If the roles were reversed, and it was the woman in the relationship that was constantly trying to instigate, get their husband's attention, and their husband told them no, as often as women tell men no.
Not just about sex, but I don't get told no.
It would be devastating. So why do women justify saying no because they're tired or whatever? I don't agree with it.
Okay, so yeah, oh man, this is going to be a good one. While I agree with what you're saying, it takes two people to be sensitive to different things that a woman may have going on, or and I think that that's where women get worn down and frustrated.
Yes, I'm talking about in a normal, healthy relationship. I'm not talking
so, like,
about
in a normal, healthy relationship,
Right.
you're saying, if I'm the man, I'm like, hey, you want to have sex tonight?
Yeah.
I have a headache. I have
Right.
a stomachache. I feel like if those things are issues in your relationship, that a conversation sitting
it's not
down.
flipping.
It's not. I'm just gonna have to keep flipping it back and forth. I don't know. Is it even showing me on camera? Do I need to move?
Barely. You need to move this way. There, it just flipped.
Maybe I'm not talking into. Hello. Talking to yours.
Hello.
Do it again.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
I say just leave it on that view because that shows both of us good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, while I understand what you're saying, and, there's points in a relationship where, yes, that's, like you said, a good, healthy relationship. If you're having issues with those things where when you said that to me, that really resonated with me, by the way, not just now, but you've said that to me before.
Right, yeah.
So sitting down and having a conversation, like, hey, I'm struggling to get into the mood, or I'm struggling sexual wise right now. There's different things that I think while men get frustrated, they could not be getting frustrated and maybe try different things. If the woman's struggling to get in the mood, maybe just try drawing a bath for her, or saying, hey, if your head's hurting, can I rub your head for 20 minutes? Don't put expectations on it, and the less expectations that you put on her to do something, the more willing I feel like women are going to be. Like, oh,
right.
He's rubbing my head, and he really wants me to feel better.
And what's coming next? Yeah.
Like, it's hard to sit there and enjoy it when you're like, oh, he's going to expect something in return. If there's no expectations on it, as women, well, I don't want to speak for most women, but me, I'm more willing to give unless there's expectations on it. I know that you expect this, there's strings attached, but if there isn't, then it's like, I want to be, sweet. I want to get in the mood. That's the thing. Women, we do actually crave sex as much as men.
If not
probably.
more sometimes.
Especially women in their 40s.
Yeah. A friend told me that women in their 40s know what's going on.
I know somebody that's in their 40s that masturbates daily. I mean, how will she ever go back to having sex?
So let's go back to where you were talking about, men and what they do and putting that expectation on the women. So us women really are not that complicated. Our hormones in our body are complicated versus a man's hormones. But what it takes to make us sexually desire them, physically desire them, it's really not that hard.
It's more of an emotional than it is a physical.
Yes, for women, yes. And that's not something new. It's been that way always. So these are a few things that I think that men need to understand. They need to understand, first and foremost, a woman has to feel safe. Physically safe and emotionally safe.
Yes.
And once you get that safety in your relationship, every aspect of your relationship grows, especially your physical relationship. Safety is by far the most important thing.
I think another thing that, I don't want to put people in categories because I really hate that. Men and women, we can make the same mistakes. But I think a lot of things that I think I've felt or I've struggled with, thinking is, if that's the only time you want something to do with your spouse, what do you think that they're going to give to you in return?
Right.
If you're not showing love and compassion and everything in all the other areas of life, then the sex part's probably not going to fall into place very well.
Right. And that's like they say, foreplay for women starts outside of the bedroom.
Correct.
Listen, if my husband wants to wash those dishes with his shirt off, we gonna go to the bedroom after.
You know what? I never even thought about this like that. But yes,
yeah.
It's the little things that make the big difference with women. Going to the gas station, hey, don't even ask. If there's something that your woman, your spouse, your partner, grab it and say, hey, I know you like this. It's those little things that, like you said, is the foreplay for us that we're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, we did this.
Well, and this is one thing. It's so simple, and so my husband, I say, is the biggest sweetheart ever, but I had to teach him kind of how to do sweet things because he was a Marine and he's a big guy, and so that sweetness didn't set well with him. He's a protector, he's a provider, but that sweet soft side really wasn't there. So one thing that he started doing, and he's done this for years now, and he still does it, and I'm telling you, every time he does it, I have the same feeling I had the first time he did it. He will stop and grab a bottle of wine, and on any bottle of wine this man has bought me for years, he's wrote a message on it. Aww. It's the sweetest thing
really
ever.
Is so
it
sweet.
Is the sweet. He keeps a marker in his truck to write a love message. And sometimes it's silly and flirty, whatever. Sometimes it's just, I love you. Sometimes it's you're beautiful.
But it's like you said, it's like a little heart flutter. Yeah.
Every single time. And to this day, when he does that, I still get that same feeling.
See, it's those little things that are like, oh.
Yeah. And we're talking about the things men do, but the same for women. I had a talk with one of our mutual friends about this because I used to be really bad about this. My husband would come in the house after a stressful day at work, and I've dealt with kids and work and the house because the majority of the house, he's gone a lot. He doesn't clean like I clean, so the house stuff falls on me. And he'd walk in, and I'm going to attack him with what's went on in my day.
What men want when they first come in?
A hug and a kiss.
Well, a hug and a kiss, and they want
10 minutes.
15 minutes just breather. They just want, and while, yes, women, we probably want the same things, but you have to understand the ins and outs of your partner too. And every day, try your best in your relationship. If you don't, nurture those aspects, then it's just not gonna work. Like
Yeah, and it's okay to your best not be 100%. It's okay your best to be 30% that day, but you have to communicate that with your spouse.
Walking in and your partner, they've had a stressful day, or you don't, and hugging them and kissing them and saying, hey, come find me in 15 minutes when you decompress from your day.
Yes.
Imagine every day
Yes.
what that would do for
Your mental health.
Both your
Yeah.
relationship. It's like, okay, she's giving me the time I need. You're getting the time you need to,
Yeah.
everybody getting on the same page when they get home. So, yeah, I mean.
It's so true. So this is, because I feel like I have, by far, for what works for me and my family, literally a perfect marriage. Even our disagreements are perfect because we've learned how to communicate. So that didn't happen overnight. It happened with.
Because you work at it.
We did work at it.
People just want things
Right.
to be the way they are, and like, oh, I'm in a relationship. Oh, it's good. No,
no.
Every day
It
you
is
have
work.
to wake up. You have to choose that person, and you have to put in the effort
Yes.
and the consistent effort every single day with your relationship.
And the biggest key is the communication.
Oh my God.
And so.
Not everything's an argument. You can sit down and talk about things and be different
And still disagree.
and compromise or
Yeah.
come to the way that you both feel comfortable with it.
Right. So let me tell you how, because I'm an in-your-face kind of person, very strong personality. I know it's very weird when I tell people that. They would never guess. So one day, my husband walked in, and then, we have several kids, and this was kind of back in the beginning when we had all first just combined in our house. And he walks in, and he's upstairs in the bedroom. The first thing he does is go up and he takes a shower. And then I walk in, and I have so much to say. And then the kids walk in, and then they have so much to say. And I mean, the look on his face was like, I thought his eyeballs were going to explode out of his head.
They're just like.
And so the kids leave, and then I'm like, what's your problem? You're not happy to see us? And from somebody who is...
Wait, you guys all met him in the bathroom in the shower?
No.
I'd be upset too.
He was on his way to the bathroom to the shower, so he goes straight
He didn't
upstairs to our
make it
bedroom.
there.
He didn't make it there. We all bombarded, And so I was like, what's your problem? Like, you have such an attitude. And he had to take a deep breath, and he turned. And we probably had been in our house for a year, so this man had probably tolerated it for a year. I didn't know there was anything wrong with it, He just turned and he looked at me and he said, when I come home, I want 10 minutes to breathe, or I want 10 minutes just to talk to you alone. And I'm defensive of our kids. Completely missed his point.
What's your problem?
Yeah. Don't you appreciate our presence? But no, so then I approached it different because I was like, oh, he's right. Like we bombard that man when he comes in. Hudson's running up and giving him a hug. Mason had this going on. Corbin, Lacey, just blah,
And while it's frustrating for men, they have to understand too, it's strictly out of love.
Yes.
And people are just like the kids, like your wife, they're just excited
Yes.
that you're home and to see you and
Yes.
talk to you.
Right. And so we had a conversation about it, and then I would start to do things like, our conversations throughout the day. If I knew he was having a rough day, when he got home, I would literally have a towel ready. He would pull in the driveway. I would have the hot shower going and a drink on the sink, and I would go downstairs and start dinner. I want to say 10 minutes, but he's like, here's your 30-minute shower. I'll go handle the house. No, but, we've had to communicate that. And, we have always had an extreme physical attraction to each other. Those arms drive me insane. But we had so much tension build once we moved in together because we had kids and house and bills and dogs and da-da-da. And then all of a sudden, we were kind of butting heads all the time, but we were smart enough to pull out of it. We were smart enough to start having those conversations. So we've always had that physical attraction, but nothing like we do now. Now it's just, there's our closeness, not just the having sex, but our actual physical closeness. Touching that man is my favorite place to be.
It's good. I mean,
It
it's
is.
a good, healthy
Yeah,
relationship.
and anybody can get there.
Yes.
With work and communication.
Correct. It doesn't always have to be a fight if
No.
if like things are not on the same page with each other.
And you don't always have to be 100% each day. It's okay to be 30% or 70%, but you, as partners, you have to make up that difference.
Yeah. And those are the little things for women that will lead us to want to be more sexual. I think that guys think that just naturally, a lot of times, we're just not as sexual. But
That
the
is
mistakes
not
that are
true.
being made is we just want to feel love. We just want to feel appreciated. And we
Safe.
just want to feel safe and
Yeah.
taken care of. And once all those things are in place, it's like, I'm so sexually, physically, everything attracted to this person that
Right.
like,
There's
yeah.
no stopping me. And it is, I tease my friends, and this, it's an ongoing joke. I say, I'm too pretty to pump my gas. I've set some expectations up.
I didn't have to
I'm
get out
like-
the other day, and I was like, I'm doing it now because it's going to be so cold. I can't pump my gas in
Yeah.
the cold weather like that.
Well, and that's the thing, like, you know, am I too pretty to pump my gas? No, but am I too pretty to my husband to pump my gas?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely I am. And guess what? He can come home and I'll warm him up.
You know what? There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Nothing at all wrong with that.
He doesn't make his plate. There's not a day that we have been married and together that that man has made his plate.
Now, I know that's true with you because I see you every time you have like family gathering. I'm usually at those or any kind of gathering. Joe's plate's always the first plate that's made after
You bet.
everything's done.
Absolutely. He cooks the food, and I will, and my kids know it too. The first thing I do as soon as that food is ready, I make that man's plate, and he sits down and he eats a warm meal.
Well, you know, those are the little things for guys. It, like I said, it works.
Have
both
you ever
ways.
noticed, though, he waits on me to, like in the beginning, I think it was a little awkward for him, but just like him pumping my gas, me making his plate, it would offend me if he did.
It's something so small,
Yeah.
yet so sweet. And that's the big thing that I want people to take away from this, that when people are talking about their love languages, because I mean, that's a big thing in relationships too. You should always know your spouse's love languages, and you should nurture that every single day. So,
Yeah. And where people mess up with that is they love other people, they want to be loved. And that is a
Correct.
recipe for failure.
so what's your love languages?
My love language is definitely actions and like gifts.
So mine is time, and not necessarily like gifts, but acts of service or
Yes,
acts
yeah,
of
right.
like
That's what
little-
I'm saying,
Like,
yeah.
yes, it can be candy, flowers. It could be a pair of shoes that I had my eye on for 6 months. It could be as simple as one small rose or a flower you picked from outside. No, yes, it doesn't have to cost money. But my main one is probably time spent with my spouse. That to me has always been a big one for me.
I
That's
would
how
say
I
that's
feel.
changed for me now too.
I would have to say that's the way that I feel the most love. When you make an effort to be with me, you want to do things with me. I want to be so obsessed with my partner that I want to be with him 24/7.
So
I can't.
Yeah.
I mean, I could,
so this
depending on the life we live. But
Right.
that's the kind of heart that I have. I want
and
that
I
person all
so
the
know.
time.
I think that's one thing that I've always known about you. You're not just that way with your spouse. You're that way with your kids. You're that way with your friends. Like you.
I have my small
love.
circle that like I call on
Yes.
for anything, and
You
like
love
those are
your
my
people.
and
Yeah.
that I don't need really anything else but just their time, their
Yeah.
attention, and just knowing that
Yeah.
we are just close.
Right. Yeah. So you say, I would say when my husband and I first got together, him buying me things was because I knew he was thinking about me to do something. He
And they
went
don't
the
have to
extra
be
mile.
expensive things.
No,
Like,
no.
I always feel like that's such a taboo thing. People are like, oh, you just like gifts.
No, it's like the wine.
Yeah.
It's like the wine. It's just so thoughtful. And,
Yeah.
it started with I had a bad day. He had stopped and got wine, wrote on it, and I think my reaction made him continue that. But so this weekend, now that our kids are older, we have a lot more alone time. Well, a lot of times in relationships, what happens is you're like, what do we do with each other? Well,
Travel, fun.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
whatever you want.
we do love to travel. So this weekend, he said, do you want to go on a date? He is huge on dates. he
Where are you
believes
guys going?
this is this last week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was cold, and we have swore off eating out as much this year because we've spent so much money on food. So I was like, no, I want to stay home. We sat at the bar at our house and had a couple drinks and started talking, turned on the music. We sang, I kid you not, for 2.5 hours. I looked up at the clock and I was like, we have been doing this for 2.5 hours. And we can't sing.
Even though I'm not, I don't have the spouse to do that with right now. I found all my old CDs the other night as I'm like,
Yeah.
OCD, I'm decluttering, I'm putting stuff away, goals. So I found all those the other night, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to start putting these on and just singing throughout the house. Like, that just brings me so much joy. Singing and dancing. I'm not good at either one.
Oh,
but
no,
it just
we sound
so much
horrible.
Joy.
I recorded us. I'll show it to you later. I literally recorded. We had so much fun, and then my middle boy came home, Nolan, from work, and he walked in.
You guys are so weird.
No, he's like,
starts doing it.
He's like, hey, do you want to play cards? And then we sat and we played cards with Nolan. And Sunday came, and I told my husband, I don't want this weekend to end.
Yeah.
Like, I love my time with my people.
Yeah.
And my
awesome.
wine. And my wine. Bring me wine and sing a
people.
song with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I feel like sex can be a really good tool in a relationship that can actually help you sit down and get to the bottom of the communication, the little things. Once you put all of those foundations in place, though, I feel like the sex part will just
comes. And you know what? No
pun intended.
What's funny about that is one thing that's happened in my relationship personally is we have learned to communicate better. And one thing I don't do ever is withhold physical contact. Even if we're upset with each other and he's standing at the sink in the bathroom and I walk by him, I touch him. I never withhold my physical contact. And the other thing is our fights it's almost laughable when we don't agree with each other.
What is your problem?
Yeah, like, do you want to go have sex and we'll talk about it after? Because listen, I'm not punishing myself. So, I mean, once you get your relationship.
And if you're not in a relationship, it's okay to romanticize your life and yourself.
Yes.
Because you are just building yourself up for when the right person comes along.
Well, and this is the deal. Like, who knows how to make you feel better than yourself?
Exactly. I 100% think there's nothing wrong with masturbating, romanticizing yourself in your life. And while you're alone, love yourself the way you want your spouse to love you. Talk to yourself. Do things for yourself in your own love language. And then when someone comes along,
you're just pulling that into you.
Correct. It's just, this is the life I live. This is what I want for my life, and they're just gonna step in and not even miss a beat with it because it's just gonna be
because at that point, like,
your
physically, emotionally,
are,
this is what I'm gonna tolerate, this is what I'm gonna accept. And if it doesn't fit that mold, it's not for you.
Yes,
listen, if you don't like me masturbating, I'm not for you.
Well, hopefully when the stuff comes along, that can be a fun thing for you to do together, or it just adds on to it. But like you said, when you romanticize everything with yourself, or exactly who you're, if somebody comes along and, like you said, they don't fit, it's not going to be like this person, how can I fit? It's going to be like, they just don't fit, and you're just going to be okay with it. It's just going to be like, okay, you're a great person, but you're not a person
you're
for
not
me.
for me. Yeah.
The
one thing that I have learned with my husband, because he is a very physical person, I think his love language is pictures of myself.
It's okay, well, when you're married, to send those.
And this is the thing, I'm not even talking about all dirty pictures, whatever. But if my hair looks good and I send him a picture, like, that dude, it's like the bottle of wine that he brought me. Like, so I've learned that, because I don't love to sit around and take pictures of myself and send them to him. But I do, especially on days that I know that we're going to have a day, or we're going, like, on a date night. that night. He's
Excitement.
absolutely. And then
like,
at dinner,
Yeah.
he's like, "Are you ready to go?" And I'm like, "Nope."
Or
A
like
little more
flirting in relationships
Oh, yeah.
where you walk by and
Oh,
like,
yeah.
like say you get up at dinner and you go to the bathroom and
Yeah.
you just whisper in his ear, "I can't wait to see that sexy face when I come back."
Yeah.
Just little
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. And you know, the touching and
whisper
stuff.
in my own ear.
Yeah.
When I
Look
get
in
back
the mirror.
from the bathroom and eat my dinner.
Rubbing yourself. You have cameras in your house. I want access.
This is a real question. So we were having this the other day in the office. What does the Bible say about masturbating? I really do need to research that. Miss Carrie tells me the Bible says it's okay. You just can't watch porn or anything like that with it. You're allowed to masturbate. You just can't be into the porn aspect of it. I don't know. I'll have to research that.
You know, the religious aspect of it is probably a whole nother episode.
It is, and we should probably do that because I am a very faith-based person. And
Yes.
like, I don't want to be out there. Well, we're all sinners. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. If somebody's like, "Well, I don't sin," well,
Yeah. You don't drive a car either, do you?
we all sin every single day. That's part of life. We strive
Yeah.
to not. You talk to God, you sin.
Right.
Whatever.
I know that the Bible thinks that, or states that the woman should definitely be submissive to their husband.
Oh, this is a perfect way to end this episode because we'll go into submissiveness
in the next
into the
episode.
next episode because that's so. Let's just talk a tiny bit, and
Yeah.
then that'll be our next episode.
I firmly believe, and I am a very, very strong type A personality, but I firmly believe in a marriage that a woman has to have some submissiveness to their husband.
I totally agree. So I've not always felt that way. I've not always understood the submissiveness behind it.
Yeah.
And we're not going to talk about it today. We'll talk about it in our next episode.
And
I'm
it's
ready.
good. It's good
So,
stuff, though,
I'm so ready for
to be submissive.
that
Yes.
in my relationship. I'm ready for my soft girl air. I'm ready to
Yes.
let go of my alpha female and feel safe and just let a man lead the house and lead. I want to know what it's like to aimlessly walk around and have a man take care of. I know I'm protected. I know that if I'm on a trip, everything was booked, everything. I just want to be pretty.
Well, the men right
I
now
just
are
wanna look
cheering
pretty.
that we said that, and they're like, "Woohoo! We want them."
Oh, but wait till the next episode.
But let me tell you this, and I'm going to circle all the way back around to the very first thing I said. The only way for you to get your wife to be submissive is for you to make her feel safe,
Yep.
physically and emotionally. Because I can tell you,
I'm gonna
anybody
clap for
who
that.
knows me would never guess that I would be a submissive wife.
I have noticed that you are like getting softer and softer. I think men think we want to be alpha females. We do not.
It's the arms.
We want men to be the alpha. We
Yeah.
just have to know we're safe and
Yeah.
taken care of. Do you want to end the episode with like a really good quote that everybody can carry on for the next week and
Yes.
just keep in their mind anytime, they feel like they need a little bumpy.
Yep. It's a daily reminder that you're a fucking goddess.
Amen. We are
Amen.
fucking goddesses. But
Submissive one sometimes.
we're gonna get lost. I want you to be my submissive. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching and listening. Come back next week for
A really fun
submissive
episode.
wives or
Submissive-
submissive girlfriends, whatever.
Submissive in your relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Till
Have
next
a good
time.
week. Bye.